What is shadow work? Shadow work is when we have to face the shadows from within. It's part and parcel of the spiritual journey, and it will test you to your absolute limits. And I'm not going to sugarcoat this for you. This is hard. It's very, very hard. Everything you have once known in your reality is changing. People around you are changing. Your vibration changes. And people, things, situations fall away from your vibration because they no longer vibrate at the same frequency. And allowing that to happen can hurt your heart. You know, something you've always known for the whole of your existence. And you're on your light path. And when you're on your light path, you have a mission. It doesn't matter what that mission is. It doesn't matter if it's making people laugh. It doesn't matter if it's healing or dancing. Your mission of light is yours and yours alone. And every mission is right because it's what's in your heart that counts. Doing the shadow work is extremely difficult. It's extremely difficult. You have to face parts of yourself that you do not like, and there'll be certain things in your universal energies that trigger you, and this is mirroring. And when something triggers you in your external body, then what happens is you have to heal it in your internal. And if a situation or somebody gets on your last nerves, for example, then that's something they are triggering within your vibration. So therefore, it's part of you that needs healing. And actually letting go of that ego self in order to do so is one of the hardest things we have to do as human beings, because we're taught egotism from a very, very young age. We're taught to actually feed the ego in a fashion when really we should sit it on our left shoulder and put duct tape around it and tell it to be quiet, because that's part of the shadow. Now, everybody needs an ego. It's part of your driving force, and it can come out in a positive form, but 90% it's a negative form. You know, our ego can drive us to be the best people we want to be. That's a positive form. But it can also put doubt and sow negative seeds within our mind, body and spirit. It can also make us compare ourselves to others and things like that. And that's very, very negative. And a lot of the time that's unhealed energy. So through your light path, you will have to face many, many shadows. When you face them, they can no longer have that power over you. They no longer have that control. It's like you're facing your demons and you're gaining your power and lighting your wand and saying, no more. You are not taking control over me. You are not controlling my life. And that is very, very difficult to do. Facing your shadows or facing the demons, whatever you wish to call it, is the hardest thing. You really have to put on your warrior cloak, hold your sword of truth, and cut it away. It's a release. In my world, what we call it is cord cutting. And we can do it in certain practices, and we do burning by fire, all sorts, and it's a release of energy. Now, the key to this, and I do apologise, I have got a bit of a cold here. The key to this is once those cords are cut, you cannot reattach them. And if you let them reattach to your system, then what was the point in doing it in the first place? When you make the decision from your heart to release something, it must be released. And that means if this is a person or a situation, then if you need to release a person, then don't put that person back in your vibration whilst you're going through the healing process. Once you've gone through the healing process, if you see them walking down the street, then you're gaining strength and you can face it again, but you can face it with your light. And that's the difference. Whereas if you put them in your vibration whilst you're healing, then you cannot heal properly and those cords are reattached. It's a removal of those cords. So facing the shadows is one of the hardest but most essential parts of your spiritual awakening and your light path, because you cannot truly walk your light path until you have faced your shadows. That's your shadow self. That's your childhood traumas. That is everything in that sector. And you know, how you do this is, what I would say is, if you've had certain things, it's actually releasing it by writing it down. You can journal. You need to release that energetically. It's a cord cutting exercise, because energy is just as strong as illness. Now, when we talk about the light path as well, we speak about, for example, if someone's chakras are completely unbalanced or they're not spinning correctly, just like our physical bodies, then it can manifest in a physical form. So if somebody's carrying a lot of guilt, for example, then they could get things like IBS and gut problems and things like that. And they come out in a physical form. And they literally do. We see it every single day. Obviously, I'm not a doctor. I'm not allowed to make that claim. So just for the benefit of YouTube and everything, I am not making that claim, which is ridiculous. But there we go. Anyway, so the shadow self is you igniting actually part of your warrior spirit. It's through facing your shadows that your warrior is ignited. It's when you put your cloak on, you hold your sword and you say no more. This is when you take that power back. You take your power back. And this is what the shadow self is. Now, we do merge with our shadow self, but that's acceptance of ourselves once you've gone through the healing. So first off, you need to face it. Then you need to heal it. Then you become one with it, because you understand that it's a lesson upon the path that has made you the warrior that you are today. And you only can be that light worker, that warrior spirit, once you've gone through the darkness, because it is darkness to light. You know, every healer I know, every other master I know has literally journeyed through the depths of hell in order to free themselves. I too, myself have. You know, I've lost more weight than I weigh. I have died 3 times and had my heart restarted. I've been broken. I've lost my soulmate. You know, I have really journeyed through hell that many times that I can high five the gatekeeper. But by doing so, I no longer live in that fear state. And when I no longer live in that fear state, I can no longer be manipulated by darkness. And that is the journey. And that is your journey. And this is what this channel's all about. So there we go. That is the message of the day. That is what we needed to talk about, was the shadow self. And what I'll do is, if you're interested in learning about shadow work and what your first steps are in order to face the shadows, I would be more than happy to help you along the path. What I can recommend is find a shaman. What I can also recommend is your faith of your heart. What I also can recommend is a local practitioner in Reiki, master. Obviously I do days. Obviously that is my job. I help people face their shadows, and this is what they obviously wanted to speak to you about today. So what I would say is, it's part and parcel of the journey, but it's the most essential one, because by doing so, you will find who you truly are. And that is your purpose, and that is the plan. We do not let these things defeat us. We use it and utilize it as fuel to ignite our fire from within, to make us who we are. This is why I work so closely with Archangel Michael, because I have to face this darkness with people on a daily basis. And I am light energy, but it doesn't mean that I let the darkness intimidate my light. And that is the journey. And it can be horrendous. Not everybody makes it, and I understand it, because it's very hard to face. But understand, the negative things happen as lessons. When we take the lessons from a situation, we can really, really understand it. We can then transmute that frequency into light, because we understand. And then it's when people get poorly. I'll let you go in a minute. But when people get poorly and things, and they still live in that old vibration, Well, that was you then. What did you learn from it? What happened whilst you were poorly? Did you learn who you actually were? Did you understand and start appreciating your life through gratitude? What happened? Did you find out who loved you and who supported you during that time? Because if we're forever a victim upon the earth, then we can never grow into the warrior spirit. It's actually releasing that victim mentality state and understanding that that fire is ignited by the darkness. And, you know, you start lighting your own path, as it were, because you light that from within. All of a sudden, you're in the dark and you're walking down this dimly lit path. You're not sure where you're going, but you're trusting that intuition, right? And you learn to light your own way by lighting you from within. You become that power, that candle in the dark. One little candle can light the darkest room. And then you start to see. And then the further down the path you go, the more illumination you get and the more understanding you get. And there'll be many, many different paths off the main path. And you have all these lessons upon the way. And then you come back to the main path and you continue your journey. And that is what this is about. This is kindergarten. This is the growing stage. But you are here on a mission. You are here on a mission of light. And how you do your light work is to face your shadows, is to grow your light from within, is to find who you are, because you are a projection of the energy you hold, and you need to hold your light. But you find that in the darkness. And how you find that is all within you. You hold the key within you. You change your vibrational frequency, whatever that might be to change. Whether that's you dancing around the kitchen like a crazy person, it matters not. You change that vibrational frequency. It's all within your power. So that is your message of the day. And Archangel Michael has been here very, very present. So I'm sending love and light to you. Have a beautiful one. When you're ready, you'll know. There's no rush. There's no anything. You will take that step. And if you've done it, congratulations. Have a beautiful one. Until next time. Bye-bye for now.